Hello and welcome to game 3 against terracubist. Here's our third kingdom. We have some trashing in steward. We have again some choices of draw here. Library, seer, diplomat. Bat can also trash off the vampire. So it's not that clear how to build for me. There were a couple ideas on the opening for me. One was explore. Well, okay, I have 4-3, right? So this is why I thought like this. Exploration and Night Watchman. Why? Because there's a trick you could do with Night Watchman. For example, if I bought a silver instead, I could then Night Watchman. I could use the Night Watchman, discard all the estates to make sure I hit 5. The 5 I would get would be Vampire. So I could go after the Vampire very quickly if I want with Exploration and then Night Watchman or Silver Night Watchman, Steward Night Watchman, Bard Night Watchman. You get the point. The other idea is Exploration again, but Steward instead of the Night Watchman. So the difference is you get to trash more quickly, but you slow down on the gain of the Vampire potentially. So I do choose the second path, the path with the Steward. I don't know if that's right or not, but I choose the path with the Steward to get thin more quickly, obviously, and also the Steward plays a little more nicely with the Exploration. If you don't buy cards, you get an extra villager and a coffer, right? So when you're trashing with Steward, you probably are not buying anything on that turn, in this kingdom in particular. So I would get some compensation for not buying anything in that case. Terracubist does something different. So they do the Night Watchman trick or Night Watchman plan. They combine their Night Watchman with a Steward though. So I saw the Steward there. I thought, okay, they're doing the same thing as me, but they're not. They will buy a Night Watchman instead of the Exploration. So there goes their Night Watchman. This is guaranteed 5. I could get 5 here if I wanted, but I probably have 5 on my next turn in combination with the coffers from the Exploration, so I didn't stress too much. Trashing was much better. They go for sheep on their Steward for style. They could have also played it for coins. Buy a vampire. I get the vampire as well. So at this point, I feel okay. I trashed a couple cards and I have a vampire. I don't have the Night Watchman for the extra cycling though. Second Steward for terracubist. I could get a second vampire here. I could, but I choose not to. Instead, I choose to pick up a seer. I think the seer is fine. The vampire will change into a bat, so there's one extra target in the deck for the seer. That hex completely didn't do anything. Just shuffle the deck for me, which, alright, thank you. Move on. And they get the Night Watchman out again here. So they did trash a couple cards with the Steward now. The first time they didn't. They do it now that they have the vampire, of course. So we are in similar positions. We have similar things in our deck. I have a Steward, they have a Night Watchman. A Seer to their Night Watchman. And I have the Exploration as well, which is impactful. You'll see soon. Alright, we trash a couple more. We don't buy anything. Here with the vampire, I give a curse out. That doesn't really matter. And I gain a livery. It looks like I do have actions to play all of these, but I have the villagers, which is why the Exploration was critical in that decision there. Otherwise, it would have been something like Village Green, probably. Alright, so we get the livery now. So we'll start printing some horses. When the vampire becomes a vampire again, we'll print even more horses. Right now it's a bat. And I have the seer in hand as well. So I'm guaranteed to see one of my two trashing pieces, Steward or bat, with this seer. Things look nice. Things look nice. So here's terracubists. Turn 6, Steward comes out. I think they choose to trash here. No, they don't. They buy exploration instead and use the bat to trash. I find all my pieces to trash with, and I can actually play both these cards, the livery and the steward. I choose to trash 2 here. I could have drawn with the steward to try to clean up the rest of the shuffle, but figured it wasn't worth it. Turns out it was worth it because this hand is trash. I gained that duplicate there. I have enough actions to support all of that, and I would like to put down this duplicate and start printing maybe a couple seers, a couple village greens, so on and so forth. Okay. But I don't have a good hand here. Maybe that should have been a reason for me to draw with the steward. But, I mean, this could have happened even if I drew with the steward as well. Okay, so here's terracubist's seer. They find their steward. And what do they do with it? Down comes the steward to trash a couple coppers. Fine. Night Watchman, so they don't do anything, they don't buy anything, just get the villager and the coffer from exploration. Night Watchman will probably top deck something good for them. I think they have a vampire play here as well, so they can gain another seer. I think they gain another, no, they gain a livery at this point. They don't have to gain the seer. This hex also doesn't hurt, so that's fine. They choose duplicate instead of seer. My apologies. I go for a second seer here, and this vampire. This is a decent hex. It's probably one of the better hexes out of the 12 for this kingdom. So we're happy to dish that out. And here this will be, I believe, a bard. Yeah. Alright, so I need to explain myself. Why is the bard there? The bard is there for me to go fishing in the boon pile. I might be able to gain something from it. Critically, the bard is the only source of plus buy on the board. Maybe I get it and I could actually do something with it. So maybe it's a waste of time as well. But I have some time in this game, you know. It's a silver. Worst case scenario is a sheep. Worst case scenario, you know. So we get the bard instead. I don't need the villages yet. I plan to actually duplicate a couple of village greens here, because I will run out of villagers on this turn if I put down livery, bard, and duplicate. There's something to be said for saving a villager as well, but my deck is very thin and clean, so I don't think I need to save villagers. Alright, terracubist draws a couple with steward, draws again with steward, puts down their duplicate. So this was bad in the sense that this gave them a little advantage in terms of deck development. I bought the duplicate before them, but they were able to see theirs before mine, before I put down mine, and gain a couple village greens off of it. So that does put them a little bit ahead. They have this nice trick with the nice Night Watchman discarding the village greens, so they get them in play for next turn. I don't think that's very impactful because the decks are very thin, but you rather have it than not, right? Bard that's a helpful boon, but not the one I was looking for. Duplicate a couple village greens and then pass it back. Bat comes out and trashes two coppers. Okay. So terracubist draws through, gets their duplicate on their mat again here. They have the second steward as well in hand, so they can choose to probably use that for coins, I believe. But they don't get a bard for the whole game. They don't get the bard for the whole game, which I'm happy about. I want to be the only one fishing in the boon pile for something good. You know, I'll take silver, I'll take a gold, maybe if I have the hand to do it. I'll take the plus buy, I'll take the discard a treasure, gain a 4 cost. I'll take all of those. So the boons are not 4 of the 12 boons I'm relatively happy with, you know? Especially now that I have a duplicate in my deck. If I gain a silver, I could gain 2 silvers if I want. If I discard a copper for a village green, I could duplicate the village green. Alright, enough talk about the bard here now. Let's see what terracubist gets up to. They put their duplicate down, so they're thinking hard about what to duplicate potentially. They also have a vampire. Here comes the steward as a sheep. Again, that's a stylish steward because you could just be a steward, but why be a steward when you could be a sheep? Right? Sheep is much cooler. Has wool. What steward has wool? Has skin. Or on its skin. Anyways. Okay. Let's see. Skipping. Alright, let's go back. We have some movement. So this is critical. We need to stop and talk about this. They buy a vampire. The hex isn't important. In fact, I am happy to receive that copper because my bat has more targets to trash now. They gain another seer. They gain a pair of seers with their duplicates, right? So that's fine as well. The important part of this turn is the second vampire. And this is actually a very deep move from terracubist that I missed. A very deep move. You'll see it why once we get to the end game here. This Night Watchman comes out, and then they could top deck some horses or something. They don't have horses, but, you know, top deck the seers that they gained. Alright, my seer finds some good cards, finds some more good cards, hooray. Let's see what the boon is now from the bard. Put the livery down first, in case we gain our 4 cost, we could gain our horse too. That's important, the order there is important. Duplicate second, again, if I gain a 4 cost, I could duplicate it, gain even more horses. Wisp, again, alright, that's something is helpful, but not the boon that we were looking for. Alright. We go here for another pair of village greens. And that was my opportunity there, honestly, to buy a second vampire. I didn't. And it will come back to haunt me. But I get the village greens just so that the deck is very stable, consistent. You know, I could potentially play some of these horses as sheep, for example. Here I didn't actually have enough money for province. We are getting close to buying province. If I had the extra actions, I could have played these horses as sheep and then been able to buy province, but that wasn't the case. I gain another livery with the vampire there. So my plan is, okay, livery, bard in play. That's already 8. We get the province with that. I don't need to keep any treasure in the deck. And in case anything goes wrong, I have a lot of extra village greens and horses. I should be fine for draw or buying provinces from this point on. Okay. So over to terracubist, and I think this is the turn where they start to green. This is the turn where they start to green. Yeah, which is good for them as second player. I really wanted to green on that turn, but I couldn't. I could have if I didn't put down the duplicate, right? That's true. So maybe that was actually just a better play for me to make there. Anyways, I have the second livery now. They get 2 stewards out, take some money from their stewards. They're using their bat to trash exclusively now. These stewards are either cards or coins. They don't green actually. They just buy a village green. Haha, joke. They gain a livery, duplicate it. Top deck probably, yeah, the village green trick, trash a couple coppers, passes it back to me here now. Okay, so I have first player. I would like to green first, especially in this kingdom with very limited buy and gain. Speaking of buy, here's the bard. Hello bard, would you like to give me a buy? I leave the seer on top of the deck because I have everything already in hand. So 2 liveries first, bard. Okay, that's not helpful right now. The deck is very clean. Stylish steward from me. Now we trash just the 1 copper because when the bat rotates through vampire back into bat, it'll have something to trash later. I could always trash a horse as well. I have so many of them. Alright, so we start the green party with our province. And we pass it over to terracubist. Now, please note that terracubist has one bat, one vampire. They don't have two bats or two vampires. They have one bat and one vampire. That is going to be very important for the end game. They will always have one bat, one vampire, because the bat changes to vampire, the vampire changes to bat. They are able to feed the bat all the time. So they see everything, unsurprisingly. They've cleaned up very well. They've caught up, actually, very well. Maybe even be a half a turn ahead here. They get up to 8 with 2 liveries in play. They take our province. Here's vampire. Okay. That hex is actually painful. Miserable. Misery. The -2 points could come into play here with the limited gain on the board. We'll see how it pans out in the end game, but I really didn't want to take that hex in this kingdom. In other kingdoms, it's fine, but here, that could actually decide the game. Potentially could have decided the game. Alright, so here now they have to think about what to do with the bat, because I'm sure they are tracking and they want to have one vampire, one bat all the time, right? So the vampire gains village green, they gain another horse, duplicate the village green for even more horses, night watchman, then bat to trash our copper. Fine. Alright, Sia draws 1 card, not impressive. Sia draws 2 cards, much more impressive. Will-O-Wisp does nothing. We find the Bard again here. Trying to conserve the horses as much as possible. This isn't a particularly good boon. I could have discarded the village green there. I don't know why I didn't, looking back at it. Could have discarded the village green and had it in play for next turn. That's why I have the replays. Very good. Top deck a horse. Play some sheep. Buy another province. And here is where the second vampire comes back to bite me. I, unlike terracubist, will only have a vampire every other turn, whereas they will have a vampire every turn. In combination with the duplicate, it means they could go province double duchy every turn. I cannot do that, crucially. I did not think about that coming into the end game here. I had ample opportunity to gain a second vampire. Now it's too late. Now it is too late because we have entered the end game. So I have to make the play here. This vampire has to gain duchy. It seems early with 5 provinces in the pile, but I cannot do this next turn because I don't have the vampire, I only have the bat. So I do think for a bit, maybe Sia, maybe village green, but then thinking 1 or 2 turns ahead, no, it has to be the duchy, and it has to be duchy duplicated as well. Potentially, maybe I get lucky with the bard, turn up the plus buy, and then I could gain a couple more duchies on the next turn, but for now, I think this is the play to make. You do gain a bunch of horses for that as well, but that is not really the point. The point is I don't have a vampire now. In other words, I don't have a way to gain duchies now. terracubist, they probably saw that far into the end game, which is good on them. Very good on them, because they have the duplicate, they have the vampire, so they could print a couple duchies here every turn. And they do start doing that. I mean, they have to because I started it, right? They can't just fall behind on the duchies. 2 liveries and a steward province, and here comes, this is painful. Vampire hits my Sia. I mean, that doesn't completely kill my deck, but that is one of the better targets in my deck. I gain a duplicate here in an attempt to gain some duchies on this turn, potentially. Maybe. We'll see if I even get back to that duplicate, given that that Sia just got trashed off the top. couple duchies for terracubist, so they have the 2 points advantage of the misery right now. But here's where my deck breaks, because I cannot go province double duchy again. We have to rely on the bard to get us there. Here's the bard. Hello, bard. Can you... Alright, look, that's helpful, but that's not what we're looking for, bard. That is not what we're looking for. Stop here. Just buy a province. Convert the bat back into a vampire and pass it back to terracubist. I didn't bother to go find the other duplicate there. I felt like I would have to give up too many horses to do that. And for what? For 3 duchies? Maybe that is the play. Maybe that is the play in that position instead of province. Terracubist draws through again. Unsurprisingly, their deck is very clean. And they now do take the lead, and a decisive lead, with province double duchy, I believe. Yeah, here comes some sheep. Well, a sheep and a duplicate goes on the mat. So they buy a province, so that puts their province count to 3 provinces. Yep. Vampire gains a duchy, and duplicate duplicates the duchy. Okay. So now I could copy them as well. Right, now I can do province double duchy because I have the vampire in the deck, but now there are only 2 provinces left. If I make that play, I lose on single province. So I only have one play here, which is to grab the duchies and hope they brick. I guess if I'm hoping for that play, I take the province, right? Yeah, that's what I should be doing. Actually, that's better endgame play. Alright, but you have to come up with something. Even if it came up with something there, I didn't have the money anymore for province and duchy. Moon's gift is utterly useless. Steward a sheep. We get up to 10. We have the duplicate. So here what I could do is buy a vampire, then double gain the duchy, pass it back to them. What I should do is just province double duchy, and if they brick, I would win. But I don't make that play, so that's bad endgame play on my part. The only way I win is if they brick. I can't win any other way. There's no other path to victory. So I have to play for the only path of victory that I have, but I don't, so I just end up effectively losing the game here through another bad decision in this game. I take an estate and then duplicate some duchies, I think, is what I do here. But that is not a winning. There's no chance that that line wins. So that's just bad, all in all. Should have been province and double duchy of the duplicates. In fact, he didn't even have to take the duchies. Just take the province, right? Because whoever gets the last 2 provinces will win the game. Unsurprisingly, terracubist draws through. They have had the Night Watchman all through this game to top deck the horses, right? So there's no way they brick, I think. They do get some estates here, and I do fool around a bit with the estate pile for the last couple turns in this game, just trying to empty them out as much as possible. I think here they don't touch the provinces. I think they do, actually. Yeah, they should be able to take the last province and then a couple of estates completely safely here. I am playing this game still because there might be some outside chance that I could win if I land miserable on them and get the plus by boon from the bard. I do have the extra duplicate, so maybe. Right now they're only 7 points ahead. So I could do province double estate, or, you know, misery could knock them down. But their turn is not done yet, unfortunately. They have duplicate left, and they do choose to duplicate the estate. So now they're 8 points ahead. So I would need both misery and forest's gift to show up to win. So misery would cut the deficit to 7. And then if I get the plus buy, then I could do province, estate, duplicate the estate to win. So that's why I haven't resigned. There's some very small outside chance that happens. 1 in 12 of the hex and 1 in 6 of the boon. So, that is the position I put myself in. But maybe it happens. It's not impossible. So I play the bard early here because it really just depends on the bard. No, nothing. Garbage. Rubbish. Like, I didn't get the silver, I didn't get the gold, I didn't get the discard treasure. I didn't get any of the boons, any of the 4 boons that I was looking for. And there are 5 boons left here. So that was bad luck. Haha, jokes. I play all these horses here. I want to try to find the bat to convert it back into vampire, but now is way too late. I've liquidated too many of my horses. There's no way I could draw through the deck here. Terracubist just cleans out the estates on this turn here. And I do a quick look at the points. There's no way I could catch up, and I resign once they do so. So the second vampire from them was the game changer, the game breaker here, because they were able to always contest the duchies. I wasn't able to do so, and the bards misbehaved. I had a couple unfortunate hexes, but really the critical thing for me is that I didn't get the vampire. That's something I had control over, and I didn't go for it. Could have also, moved the hexes around, right? Maybe I would have hit them with locusts. Who knows? So we'll just skip till the end here, where they take triple estate. Yeah, there's triple estate, and 8 points behind, 6 points left in province. Even if I get misery onto them and by the province is a tie, I lose on first player. So this is a complete lockout at this point. Game 3 goes to terracubist. They did very well in this game, I must say, because I felt ahead in the beginning. And they did well to build off second player and win this game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.